Previously on Moonlit Shadow.
Hey, Dad? Yeah, she may be the one. I think I love her. She's beautiful. My darling.
Don't you realize she gets around, son?
Mother, that's just not true. It's not true, Mother. Can't you see? I've been blinded.
The baby isn't yours, son. It's your twin brother's. Hector con carne.
Number 25, Citizen Kane. Often cited as the greatest film of all time, this is the story of media mogul turned isolationist collector Charles Foster Kane. It's near mandatory to add it to this list, and deservedly so. Critics love it for its cinematography, editing, and narrative structure, as do I. But I especially love the fact that Orson Welles made it through ignorance, knowing just enough. Surrounding himself with professionals and a little added charm, he created a timeless masterpiece. See it without any expectation and decide for yourself. Number 24, Seven Samurai. Bandits decide to wait till harvest to pillage a village, so poor farmers recruit 7 reluctant ronin to defend their women and wine. Inspired by American master John Ford, Akira Kurosawa directed this epic that, in return, inspired America all over again with films like The Magnificent Seven and even A Bug's Life. Toshiro Mifune steals the show here, adding much-needed comedic effect to balance out the brutality and loss. If you like this one, also check out Rashomon, Throne of Blood, Kagemusha, and The Hidden Fortress, which inspired Star Wars. Number 23, The Searchers. Filmed in the beautiful Monument Valley and shot in stunning VistaVision, The Searchers is a sight to behold. John Wayne plays Ethan Edwards, who must reclaim his niece Debbie, who, after watching her family being slaughtered by the Comanche, is taken under the custody of Scar. Wayne and the rest of the cast of John Ford regulars help add to the authenticity of it all. This is one Western where I truly feel that I am there on the American frontier, with the dust on my boots and the sun in my face. Number 22, King Kong. The 1933 original version, that is. Seeing the 8th wonder of the world atop the Empire State Building back then must have tripped unsuspecting audiences out and probably scared a few away. The stop-motion animation, helmed by Willis O'Brien, was a breakthrough in special effects, and I think it still holds up today. There is also some pretty gruesome monkey munching on the villagers, and some passes made on Fay Wray as well. Love holds no bounds. Number 21, 8½. A director comes down with writer's block as his staff, family, and critics surround him with questions until he suffocates with no way out. The cool shades, attractive women, and surreal religious imagery make up the background of Federico Fellini's most personal work. I especially love the scene of Guido controlling over and being pampered by his horde of women, who turn on him until he literally whips them back into shape. Fellini gets full-on weird in later films, so if this doesn't bother you too much, check out Satyricon. Number 20, Persona. Close-ups of 2 ladies talking to each other in a house located on a Swedish island. Boring, right? Wrong. Especially when the 2 women are Bibi Andersson and Liv Ullmann, the director is Ingmar Bergman, and it's the most revelatory and groundbreaking avant-garde art film ever made. It's haunting and mesmerizing. You feel as though you're a fly on the wall until the fourth wall breaks and you are smashed to oblivion. And it features the most sexually explicit scene without ever showing the indecent act. This film shatters perception. Number 19, Pulp Fiction. The film that made Quentin Tarantino a household name and blew internet message boards up trying to decipher its meaning. Its narrative structure, much like with Citizen Kane, felt fresh and new and brought many copycats attempting to catch its style. The dialogue is witty, and above all else, it's just so damn cool, man. It's a hell of a lot better than that Forrest Gump picture, let me tell you. Number 18, A Matter of Life and Death. A pilot in the British Royal Air Force contacts American radio operator June before he jumps from his burning plane without a parachute to his untimely death. At least, he was supposed to die, but someone in heaven was sleeping on the job, and he and June fall in love. Now heaven wants him back, but not without a fight. Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, aka The Archers, bring us this Technicolor love story of otherworldly proportions. Together, they made some of the most gorgeous and meaningful films I've ever seen. Nothing is stronger than love. Number 17, North by Northwest. Hitchcock is back with this most entertaining spy thriller, accompanied by Cary Grant, James Mason, and another blonde in the form of Eva Marie Saint. Moving through New York to Chicago and finally Mount Rushmore, the sets are a magnificent sight to behold. Cary Grant takes on many different roles as he's falsely accused of murder, while being falsely identified as a government spy. All the while falling in love as he embraces his lady with the creepiest hands since Dracula. Number 16, Metropolis. Science fiction meets German expressionism in this silent Fritz Lang classic. Son of the wealthy that run the city, Freder follows Maria to the underground, where the workers dwell and slave away at the control of the machines. Seeing the monotony and death that accompany it all, Freder decides to make a difference, but is stopped by Rotwang when he summons the Machine Man. From Rotwang's gloved hand to the futuristic city, and most importantly, to the female robot, the imagery is hard to forget. Number 15, Modern Times. Chaplin's last outing as the Tramp is, in my opinion, his greatest work of art. Caught up in an industrialized America, the Tramp is put through the ringer and suffers a mental breakdown. The open cogs of the factory machine are awesome looking, and it's hilarious when Chaplin and his partner get trapped in them. The jail scene when Chaplin unknowingly gets a hold of nose powder and foils an escape attempt is great as well. This is a charming film the whole family can enjoy. Number 14, Django Unchained. Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz make the perfect duo as bounty hunters on a mission of love to Candyland, owned by the loathsome Calvin, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Everything about this film works for me. The dramatic scenes are tear-inducing, the action scenes are heart-pumping, and the comedic scenes are gut-bustingly uproarious. Everyone's favorite scene seems to be when Don Johnson and his gang in full KKK regalia go to seek revenge on the bounty hunters, fail miserably, and appear as total brainless idiots in the process. You have to see it to believe it. Number 13, Vertigo. This is Hitchcock's most stylized and mind-bending movie, taking place primarily in San Francisco. Seeing the rolling streets, the redwoods, and the Golden Gate Bridge are a joy, and bring me back to the wife and I's West Coast road trip. Jimmy Stewart is great as always, as he deals with his fear of heights and later his obsession. It's awesome to see his trippy head flash and float on the screen as he freaks out within a dream. Number 12, The Shining. The first Kubrick movie I ever watched and my favorite ever since. Although not his greatest, I love it ever so much. The more mental Jack gets, then the more of the hotel's ghosts come through. And this is where the movie really shines. The monologues Jack gives are disturbing, frightening, and funny all at the same time, especially when yelling at Wendy. I imitate Jack often and encourage my friends to do the same. Number 11, The Night of the Hunter. The only film Charles Laughton ever directed is spooky, dreamy, and a true childhood nightmare. Robert Mitchum plays the boogeyman perfectly as John and Pearl try to escape his grasp and hold on to the money. Laughton had the whole cast go through all of D.W. Griffith's films before shooting to get the spirit right. A special shout out goes to Lillian Gish. She is amazing in this movie and gives it an untimely vibe. Love and hate, baby. Number 10, Carlito's Way. I am wholly unapologetic about this film. Some call it Scarface 2.0 and wouldn't put it anywhere near the top, but I consider it to be De Palma's masterpiece. Al Pacino's narration rolls the story along perfectly as he tries to get the cash to invest in car rentals after nearly spending his entire life in prison. Thing is, you can't live with one foot in the streets. The streets are watching. Carlito is so controlled and cool that you feel he can't do any wrong. The chase at the end is a perfect example of how to film an action sequence. Perfect. Number 9, Jaws. This is the blueprint for the modern blockbuster. Every studio wanted to copy its success, and it made Steven Spielberg a household name. Quint, Brody, and Hooper battle to the end with a 25-foot great white, and they make that son of a bitch smile. Quint is one of the greatest characters ever written to screen, and my favorite. I don't care if you think the shark looks fake. It's real to me. Number 8, The Passion of Joan of Arc. I'm not sure the reaction back in 1928, but when I watched this a few years back, it had a transcendent effect on me. The score was eerie, the close-ups of Joan were divine, and the ending devastating. The face of Renee Falconetti will forever be imprinted on my mind. An incredibly profound film for all time. Number 7, Rear Window. Dealing with voyeurism and taking place entirely in one room overlooking some courtyard apartments, this is Hitchcock's best. Jimmy Stewart is witness to what he thinks is a murder and tries to figure it all out from his wheelchair. Meanwhile, he questions his relationship with his socialite girlfriend, wondering if she can be that beautiful and the adventurous type he needs her to be. He is a cameraman, so he has the eye, and he sees it all. Even the dancer who likes to do her morning calisthenics in her pink undies. Number 6, Apocalypse Now. Based on Joseph Conrad's novella Heart of Darkness, this film follows Captain Willard during Vietnam as he travels upriver to terminate Colonel Walter E. Kurtz with extreme prejudice. Although this is a Vietnam film, there really is no fighting with the Viet Cong. It deals primarily with the mental state of it all and goes deep down into your cranium. The characters get so disconnected with reality and begin to make up their own distinctions of morality and the whole big picture of it all. Dennis Hopper is also great in this. Check it out. Number 5, Taxi Driver. Robert De Niro plays Travis Bickle, a lonely army vet who continues to dive into isolation and depression as his thoughts become more erratic and start to become physical. This is a great character study that is propelled by music from Bernard Herrmann in his last film score. You spend the whole time with Bickle. You start to feel for him a bit and even root for him at times. There's a scene when he is on the phone with Betsy and he's not doing very well and you just want to turn away. So that's exactly what the camera does for you. Then again, he is insane. Number 4, The Red Shoes. A film about the passion for art and what lengths a dancer and her instructor will go to for it. This is a ballet movie. The most exquisite Technicolor musical created by the Archers ever. It's based off of the story of a pair of shoes controlled by a demonic shopkeeper that once on a dancer's feet cannot be taken off until that dancer faints and dies. And this is the centerpiece of the film. The Red Shoes Ballet is the most splendid and wonderful dances I've seen. Guys at work laugh at me for my love of this film, but I'm not fazed. Number 3, 2001, A Space Odyssey. When Kubrick set out to make the quintessential sci-fi flick, he accomplished this feat with the most stunning and awe-inspiring film of his career. Technically brilliant, well-researched, and near prophetic, 2001 looks like it could have been made yesterday. Being short on narrative exposition, many people I talk to don't get it and find it boring, but its visual intrigue is fascinating. It's an acid trip in space that will turn your mind to mush and spit you out as a giant star child, baby. Number 2, The Godfather 2. A complete tonal shift from the original, Part 2 tells the story of the inevitable downfall and dark side of the Corleone family. The betrayal, political corruption, and the realization by Kay of what her husband has become make this the most complex and trying of the trilogy. I especially love the juxtaposition between Vito Corleone's original path to power and his son Michael's loss of meaning and control through the changing 50s. Both roles being played magnificently by Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Pacino should have won the Oscar as well. And number 1, Raging Bull. Widely considered by critics as the greatest film of the 80s, this is the look at boxer Jake LaMotta as he struggles with his humanity while his animal nature rips through. From the cinematography, to the editing, to the screenplay, to the music, to the casting, to the everything, this is perfect and the greatest film. Robert De Niro plays Jake as tragic, toxic, and tumultuous with such conviction that I relate to his conflict. The conflict of a man's self-worth, how a man should treat his family and community, and how we as a society should hold men to a higher standard. But definitely don't act as LaMotta does in this masterpiece. Good day, everyone, and thanks for watching. Look forward to the future when I actually review some full-length movies. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.